There is a civilization on Earth that has mastered agriculture, architecture, warfare, logistics, and collective intelligence. It has existed for more than 100 million years. It spans nearly every continent, and it does not have a ruler. This civilization lives beneath your feet, and most of us pass over it every day without ever noticing. An individual ant is not impressive. Its brain contains roughly 250,000 neurons, a microscopic fraction compared to the human brain. Alone, an ant behaves simply. Its actions are limited, predictable. But place thousands of ants together, and something extraordinary happens. The colony begins to function as a single living system. Scientists call this a superorganism. In a superorganism, each individual operates like a cell in a larger body. No single ant understands the master plan. No single ant directs traffic or designs architecture. And yet the colony builds cities, coordinates supply chains, and adapts to change with remarkable efficiency. So how does intelligence emerge from such simplicity? The answer lies in communication. Ants do not speak. They do not use sound to coordinate complex plans. Instead, they write in chemicals. When a scout discovers food, it lays down a pheromone trail on its journey back to the nest. The chemical trail is invisible to us, but unmistakable to other ants. If the food source is valuable, more ants follow the trail, reinforcing it with their own pheromones. If the source is weak or disappears, the chemical signal gradually fades. There is no meeting, no central decision, only feedback. From this simple rule, the colony consistently discovers the shortest and most efficient routes between nest and food. This behavior has inspired an entire field of computer science known as ant colony optimization. Algorithms modeled after ant behavior are now used in global shipping networks, telecommunications routing, and traffic systems. Tiny insects have influenced the design of planetary infrastructure. But ants do more than transport food. They grow it. Humans invented agriculture around 12,000 years ago. Leafcutter ants began farming roughly 50 million years ago. They harvest leaves not to eat directly, but to cultivate fungus in underground gardens. The leaves are chewed into pulp and carefully maintained to nourish fungal crops. The ants regulate humidity and temperature. They remove harmful microbes. Some species even produce natural antibiotics from bacteria that live on their bodies. The fungus feeds the colony. The ants protect and sustain the fungus. It is a mutual dependency refined over millions of years. A biological partnership older than most modern animal species. And beneath the surface, their engineering becomes even more astonishing. Underground ant nests can extend several meters deep. Within them are chambers for nurseries, food storage, and waste management. Some desert species construct ventilation systems that regulate airflow through natural temperature differences between tunnels. There are no blueprints, no architects, yet the structures function with precision. Army ants take this further. When faced with a gap in terrain, they link their bodies together, forming living bridges. Each ant grips the next, adjusting to weight and pressure. When the colony has crossed, the bridge disassembles and the ants continue moving. Temporary architecture, built only when needed. Not all colonies focus solely on building. Some wage war. Certain ant species conduct organized raids on neighboring colonies. Scouts locate targets. Chemical signals mobilize soldiers. Waves of attackers move in coordination. Some ants spray formic acid as a weapon. Others sacrifice themselves, rupturing their own bodies to release toxic compounds in defense. There are even slave-making ants that invade rival nests, steal larvae, and raise them as workers. And still, there is no general. No commander. Strategy emerges from countless local interactions. So how do ants make decisions? When a colony must relocate, scout ants independently search for new nest sites. Each evaluates potential locations based on size, safety, and structure. If a scout finds a promising site, it recruits another ant by physically leading it there. Gradually, more scouts approve the location. Support builds slowly at first. Then, once a critical threshold is reached, the entire colony commits, almost instantly. This process closely mirrors neural activity in the human brain. Individual ants behave like neurons. Signals accumulate. When a threshold is crossed, action occurs. The intelligence does not reside in any single ant. It emerges from the network. Ant colonies are also remarkably resilient. Destroy part of the nest, and reconstruction begins immediately. Block a foraging trail, and alternative routes quickly form. Remove thousands of workers, and the colony reorganizes. Because there is no central authority, there is no single point of failure. Modern decentralized systems, from swarm robotics to distributed computing, draw inspiration from these principles. Resilience through distribution. Strength through cooperation. There are an estimated 20 quadrillion ants on Earth. That is roughly 2.5 million ants for every human alive. Their combined biomass rivals our own. They inhabit nearly every ecosystem except Antarctica. They survived asteroid impacts, ice ages, and mass extinctions. For over 100 million years, they have endured. Not through domination, but through coordination. When you see a line of ants crossing a sidewalk, you are not witnessing random motion. You are observing a living network. A decentralized intelligence. A civilization without ego. The individual ant is expendable. The colony persists. Perhaps intelligence does not always require a large brain. Perhaps it requires connection. And beneath our feet, in the soil and shadows, one of the most advanced societies on Earth continues its work. Silent. Coordinated. Unstoppable.